Well, hello. Welcome back to You May Disagree. Today I want to talk about bass guitarists. You know, typically, the bass guitar gets lost in a song's mix, quietly following the beat and holding down the low end, behind the loud guitars and the singer. It is an instrument designed to be felt, more than heard, and in most traditional rock bands, the bass player is completely content staying out of the spotlight and sticking to the basic root notes. But there are exceptions, and I mean some damn good exceptions, especially when you look at the 1980s. This was a decade where bass technology evolved, production styles shifted, and a new breed of players stepped out of the shadows to turn the bass into a frontline weapon. These musicians didn't just follow the melody, they created it, driving the entire sonic engine of some of the biggest bands on Earth. As always, this is my personal list, and you may disagree. So with that, let's get cooking. Coming in at number 5 is Duff McKagan. Now, when Guns N' Roses exploded in the late 80s, they brought a dangerous, street-level grit back to rock and roll, and a massive part of that sound came straight from Duff's bass. He wasn't content to just sit in the background. In fact, look no further than the intro to Sweet Child of Mine. Everybody knows Slash's iconic guitar riff, but listen closely to what happens when the bass drops in. Duff doesn't just chug along on the root notes. He plays a beautiful, soaring counter melody that actually sets the whole mood for the song. He played with a heavy pick and a signature metallic chorus effect on his Fender Jazz Bass Special. It gave him this bright, biting tone that you simply couldn't ignore. On an album full of massive guitar heroes, Duff proved the bass could stand right on the front line. Coming in at number 4 is David Ellefson. Just an awesome bassist. You know, I'll never forget the first time I heard him play for Megadeth. I was just so impressed with his style. The guy wasn't just up there plucking strings to fill space. He brought just as much raw attitude to the music as Dave Mustaine. See, back in the 80s, thrash metal was moving at light speed. Most bass players just quietly hid behind the rhythm guitar, but not Ellefson. Look at a track like Wake Up Dead. That song doesn't even have a normal chorus. It just constantly shifts gears into completely different riffs. And Ellefson? He's the engine holding it all together. Right in the middle of the track, the guitars drop out, and he plays this spider-like, growling bass fill that sets up the whole final breakdown. He used a hard pick right next to the bridge to get this razor-sharp machine gun sound that sliced right through the distortion. In a genre full of lightning-fast guitars, Ellefson's bass completely demanded your attention. At number 3, Billy Sheehan. Now right now you're probably thinking, there better be some powerhouse bassists at number 1 and 2. Don't worry, I got this. But look, you cannot talk about the 1980s without talking about Billy Sheehan. He completely flipped the script on what people thought a bass guitar could do. Before he hit the mainstream, bass players didn't shred. But Billy brought two-handed tapping and hyper-fast picking straight to the 4-string. Just listen to his work on David Lee Roth's Eat 'Em and Smile album. On tracks like Shy Boy, he is playing these blistering light-speed solos right alongside guitar wizard Steve Vai in perfect unison. He even modified his own bass with dual outputs so he could run one clean signal for the low end and a heavily distorted signal into a guitar amp for his solos. The guy was a master of his craft that blew everyone's minds. Number 2 belongs to none other than Geddy Lee, an incredible multi-instrumentalist with a perfect ear for music. Let's face it, every member of Rush was at the top of their game. But what Geddy did in the 1980s was pure wizardry. See, in the 80s, Rush leaned heavily into synthesizers and high-tech production. On tracks like Tom Sawyer or YYZ, Geddy was doing the impossible. He was singing lead, triggering synthesizer pedals with his feet, and playing intricate bass lines, all at the exact same time. He had the sheer speed and precision to perfectly match Neil Peart's legendary drumming. If Geddy was even a fraction of a second off, the whole song would collapse. Instead, his crisp, growling bass tone anchored the entire band, proving he was an absolute titan of the instrument. And finally, at number 1 is an absolute beast, Steve Harris. The engine behind Iron Maiden and the pinnacle of bass guitarists in the 80s, I have always loved hearing him play. His bass lines complemented Dave Murray and Adrian Smith like peanut butter and jelly. See, Steve Harris didn't just quietly sit back and follow the guitars. He moved his bass straight to the front of the mix. He used a lightning-fast rhythmic gallop on tracks like The Trooper and Run to the Hills that basically gave the songs a machine gun pulse. He achieved this bright, percussive sound using pure finger strength, turning the bass into a frontline, melodic weapon. As the chief songwriter and creative captain of the band, he completely redefined what a bass player could do. He stands entirely alone at the top of the mountain. And so, there you have it. My picks for the best bass guitarist of the 80s, from McKagan to Harris. These are the bassists that really stand out. But I would like to point out that Cliff Burton was also a damn good bassist. I didn't add him because, well, he shows up on a lot of lists, and I really want to spread the love. Now, you may disagree, so please let me know in the comments if I missed someone who should have been on my list. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.